Hello. Today's subject is the difference in a brain injury when you get it when you're a child and when you get it when you're an adult. It also kind of matters what time of adulthood you get it in. You're actually never done growing up, at least to a certain point. I'm going to be 33 years old in a couple days, and I'm nowhere near done growing up at all. So when you get your brain injury, matters. When you're a child, everything is flexible. Everything about your life is flexible. The reason I survived all the horrible bad things I did was because I was a child. I was able to survive because I was flexible, because my brain was movable. It could be molded into anything. There was room for error. If you get a brain injury when you're a child, it messes things up. It really does, and it can really make things very, very difficult. But it is the world you know, and therefore the world you grow into and you grow up with. It doesn't mean that there's not frustrations. There are, but it is all you know. And so you're able to handle it. That's how you're raised. That's what you're made to be. Now, the bigger, more complicated monster, getting a brain injury while you're an adult. Well, the thing is, when you're an adult, who you are, what you are, how you feel, everything has been set in stone. It's done, for the most part. When you get a brain injury, what is stolen from you is not necessarily who you are, because who you are is locked away in scattered, fragmented memories now. You exist. Your memories, as broken as some of them may be, they exist. Your feelings about some things in the world, they still exist. They may not make a lot of sense now, but they exist. That is a very, very, very confusing thing. Very confusing thing. To know your identity, to know who you are, and then to have it be completely flipped over. You're still you, but you're not you. You look in the mirror and you see you, but it's not you. That is psychologically a really hard thing to deal with. There is a reason most of us become alcoholics. Most of our marriages end in divorce. There's a lot of things that happen to us as adults with brain injury, simply because psychologically we were not ready to change. We were supposed to be set. Now, the more complicated part of that is then, well, what kind of adult were you? How old were you? It actually makes a difference. It really does. I know that the difference between 19 and 23 was huge for me. The difference between 23 and 27 was huge. The difference between 27 and 33 is amazingly large. Now, as I go further in life, 33 to 38 may be the next kind of big step up. 38 to 49. And it gets bigger until you get to a certain point where you're set. You are who you are, and you are what you are. And it is what it is. So the thing about brain injury and what I've realized about it, why I'm optimistic about it, oddly enough, would be what brain injury does to you. We've said it before. It resets it. It sets you back at the beginning. But your computer that's reset at the beginning, it still has a ton of data left over from the last computer. Some of it makes sense, some of it does not. It's up to you to make sense of it. Do not get emotionally tied to it. It's gone. Let it go. Just like my girl Elsa here. Let it go. Who you are, or who you were, is gone. But it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Who you are now You might have some things that make it difficult to live, but that does not mean that you cannot have a fruitful, eventful, and beautiful life. Not only the life that you should have had, but maybe even better, now that you have a perspective that otherwise you would not have had. But yeah, it's different. Kid, adult. We all deal with a lot of the same things, but in the brain injury community, we really need to start thinking about how we're approaching people psychologically where they're at. Age is one thing. There's a whole other thing about being a man, being a woman, being gay, being straight, being crazy, being not crazy. We'll get into those later. Have a nice day, everybody.